Cami lived for the ocean. From the moment she could walk, she was drawn to the water, its endless expanse calling to her like a siren's song. The ocean was her playground, her sanctuary, and her greatest teacher. Its salty breath filled her lungs even on land. She felt its presence in every breath she took, a constant reminder of the life that thrived beneath the waves. She knew every curve of the beach by heart. Each grain of sand, each rock and shell was a part of her world, a world she cherished deeply. The cries of gulls were her music. Their calls were a symphony that played in the background of her life, a melody that was both wild and comforting. Cami's island home was nestled like a pearl in the vast blue. It was a place of beauty and tranquility, a hidden gem in the ocean's embrace. It was a paradise, but lately it was fading. The fish were disappearing. The once vibrant coral reefs were now pale and lifeless, a stark contrast to the memories of her childhood. The once lush trees struggled to grow. The island's greenery, which had always been so abundant, was now withering away, leaving behind a landscape that seemed to mourn its own decline.
This island was all I had left of my parents. Every corner of it held a memory, a piece of the life we once shared. They had been lost at sea when I was young. The ocean that gave me so much had also taken away the most precious people in my life.
Now she lived with her grandmother Nana in their little cottage. It was a cozy haven filled with the warmth of love and the scent of the sea. Nana knew the island's secrets like the back of her hand. She was a living repository of stories and wisdom, a guide to the island's hidden wonders. One day Nana fell ill. It was sudden and unexpected, a shadow that crept into their lives and refused to leave. Cami stayed by her side, reading stories of pirates and mermaids. She hoped the tales would bring some comfort, a reminder of the magic that still existed in the world. Nana would smile weakly, her eyes filled with a strange light. It was as if she saw something beyond the horizon, something only she could understand. Cami knew deep down that Nana wouldn't be with her for much longer. The thought was a heavy weight on her heart, a reality she wasn't ready to face. The thought filled her with a loneliness as vast as the ocean itself. She stood by the shore, the waves whispering secrets she could no longer hear, feeling the emptiness that the sea had left in her soul. Nana's hand, wrinkled like driftwood, clutched Cami's. The years had etched stories into her skin, each wrinkle a testament to a life lived with love and hardship. Her voice, a soft whisper, spoke of a promise that carried the weight of generations, a promise that could change everything.
There is a way to save our island. It's a secret passed down through our family, a secret that only you can fulfill. You must find a man named Xavier. He holds the key to our salvation. He lives in a place called Mississippi, far across the sea. A land that seems almost mythical, yet it is real.
Cami's heart pounded. Mississippi, the name sounded foreign, distant, like a place from a dream. That sounded like a myth, a place from Nana's stories. Stories filled with magic, adventure, and hope. But Nana's eyes held a desperate hope, a hope that transcended the boundaries of reality and myth. She pressed a worn piece of paper into Cami's palm. The paper felt fragile, like it could crumble at any moment. It had a name scrawled on it, Xavier, followed by an address that seemed to hold the promise of a new beginning.
Xavier has the ocean's magic in his veins. He is the one who can help us. Promise me you'll find him. Promise me you'll save our home.
I promise, Nana. I will find him no matter what it takes.
Cami, tears streaming down her face, promised. She had to. The weight of her promise felt heavy, yet she knew it was her destiny. It was Nana's dying wish, a wish that carried the hopes and dreams of their entire lineage. But fear gnawed at her. The unknown loomed large, and the journey seemed insurmountable. Could she really do this? Could she really embark on this perilous journey, sail across the ocean all alone? The vastness of the sea seemed to mock her resolve. Nana squeezed her hand one last time and then fell silent. The silence was deafening, filled with unspoken words and unfulfilled dreams. The island felt strangely still, as if it too was holding its breath, waiting for Cami to take the first step. The sea, usually a source of comfort, now seemed like a vast, empty expanse. Cami was alone. Alone, but with a promise that whispered on the wind, guiding her towards an uncertain future. Cami set sail on her grandfather's old fishing boat. It creaked and groaned like a grumpy sailor, but it was sturdy. She packed supplies, her heart heavy with grief and determination. The journey was long and perilous. The sea, usually her friend, turned into a ferocious beast. A storm raged for days. Waves crashed over the deck, threatening to swallow her whole.
I remembered Nana's words, the ocean tests those it loves.
She clung to the hope that Xavier was real, that he could help her. Finally, the storm subsided. The sun broke through the clouds, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Cammy, exhausted but unbroken, steered towards the distant shore. She had survived the ocean's fury. Now a new adventure awaited. Mississippi was unlike anything Cammy had ever seen. The landscape was lush and tropical, a stark contrast to her island home. The vibrant greens and the exotic flora seemed to pulse with life, almost as if the land itself was breathing. The air was thick and humid, filled with the sounds of unfamiliar birds. Each chirp and call was a reminder that she was far from home. She clutched the piece of paper with Xavier's address, her fingers trembling slightly as she navigated the winding streets of the tropical town. It was a small, ramshackle house on the outskirts of a bustling town. The house looked like it had seen better days, with peeling paint and a sagging roof. Yet, there was something inviting about it, a sense of history and stories waiting to be told. She knocked, her heart pounding in her chest. Each thud of her heart seemed to echo in the stillness of the afternoon. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself, hoping that the man behind the door could be the savior her grandmother had spoken of. The door creaked open to reveal a tall, weathered man with eyes as blue as the deep ocean. His gaze was intense, as if he could see right through her, reading her thoughts and fears. Tattoos, intricate and swirling, covered his arms. They were mesmerizing, each line and curve telling a story of its own. She couldn't help but stare, captivated by the artistry. They depicted sea creatures, waves crashing, and constellations she recognized from the night sky above her island. It was as if his skin was a canvas painted with the very essence of the ocean and the stars. This was Xavier.
My name is Cammy. Her voice was steady, but there was an underlying tremor of hope and desperation. My grandmother told me to find you. She paused, searching his face for any sign of recognition or understanding. She said you could save our island. Her words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of her people's hopes and dreams.
Xavier looked at her, his expression unreadable. For a moment she feared he would turn her away, that her journey had been in vain. Then a slow smile spread across his face. It was a smile that spoke of understanding, of shared history, and perhaps of hope. The tattoos on his arms seemed to shimmer in the sunlight as if they were alive, dancing with the promise of what was to come. Cammy felt a surge of relief and anticipation. Her journey was just beginning.